Namaste, all you mystical minds. Welcome back for another full moon reading. This time we are in August. It's the 22nd, Australian Eastern Standard Time at 10:01 p.m. I'm reading here from Canberra in Australia. Anybody that's new, I welcome you to the video. We've got a lot of energy going on this month. I try to make my videos a little bit shorter so they're more digestible, but I've got so much to talk about because, as you can see, we've got this axis of Leo and Aquarius going on at this time. A lot of the energies this month that are coming out are around leadership, truth, inspecting our values and belief system in relation to our inner self, but then also how we put it out in the world into humanity, and this dance of creation and destruction that happens with Nataraj dancing Shiva. So we'll go into that energy as we move through the reading. My name is Chelsea Sonka. I'm a Vedic astrologer, and I welcome you to my channel. If you're brand new, you're welcome to subscribe, like the video, share it if you find it helpful. Stick around to the end because I've got some interesting information about future products that I'm going to be sharing on my website in the next month or two. And it'll be very exciting with that. Also for interesting information on the next new moon. So just before we jump in, we're going to pay homage to Saturn because, again, like last month's full moon, we are in Aquarius and Saturn also owns this sign. So we're just going to pay some energy towards Saturn. Om Nilam Bujasama Bhasayam Ravi Putram Yamagrajam Chaya Martan Tasambhutam Tam Namami Shanaiskaram Om Aim Hrim Srim Shanaiskararai Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shanidev. Looking like a blue cloud, the son of the sun, he is the foremost of those who control. He can even put his shadow over the glorious sun. To that Saturn, emblem of control, we bow down to devotion. In devotion, Om, we bow down to Saturn, the emblem of control. So this month we've got this Leo axis. You can see Sun, Mars, Mercury. We've got all these fire energies going on. Sun in its own sign. The king, the queen, you've got Mars, the warrior here. We've got Mercury, the sharp intellect before it goes into its own sign of Virgo here. Very powerful energies around leadership being projected across and aspecting in Aquarius, where we've got this full moon, and we'll go into this energy as well. We've got Neptune retrograde here. We've got moon here. We've got Jupiter retrograde in a tight conjunction in Dhanishtha Nakshatra. Lots of really interesting energies, and Aquarius symbolizing the 11th house. In this chart, you can see that it's sitting in the 11th house for the Aries descendants, but this energy around wealth. But I really want you to be aware of the theme of wealth being many, many different things. It doesn't just have to be money, material things, you know, the way that wealth comes out in our life in different forms of abundance. So as I said, this axis that we've got of the fire and the air, these are both fixed signs. So it's about becoming more open-minded. Of course, in anything, and when I talk about the doshas, you've got a balanced state and an out of balance state. So being aware this month that with all this firepower and sharp intellect that we've got going on around leadership themes being projected across at Aquarius, and then we've got Aquarius, you know, the moon and Jupiter and Neptune projecting back across at Leo with these themes of, you know, society and intellectual themes, thinking out of the box, you know, serving society as a whole, bringing our gifts from Capricorn and then using it for the whole, being pushed back over there. And you'll see all these themes around leadership and our beliefs and our values coming up this month. And I know, like I say, every month I see things a couple of days just before I do these readings starting to come out. You know, I see the shadow side, then I'll see some people in their own power and how that's coming out. It's just very interesting to see what kind of conversations are coming to head, and it almost feels like a punch up kind of in a way, because there's a lot of things being challenged at this time. And if you can relate to that, put a thumbs up in the comment section below, because I'd love to hear your experience as well. So these power themes, so we're talking about watching out for light and shadow sides and how it can be quickly used to misuse of power. Jupiter retrograde with the moon, it's about refining our beliefs, a higher vision for the self to participate with the whole. Neptune retrograde here, just a little bit of information. It's usual kind of confusion, spirituality themes. Confusion can happen with most retrogrades, where we kind of get more detailed and go backwards, and it's like double checking your homework kind of energy. But this one here, it really creates this vision and clarity. So when Neptune is direct in Aquarius, the air is filled with lots of concepts of unity. So you can see there's quite a beautiful energy going on in this Aquarius sign at this time, because you've got Jupiter retrograde going back over our belief system and how that's affecting humanity as a whole. We've got the moon, how that affects us internally, and then this Neptune retrograde that I just described, our connection to our inner worlds and ourselves as individuals in the whole sign, so for humanity. So this full moon is a blue moon, and interestingly enough, just this once in a blue moon, this kind of an energy where we're having these themes starting to come up, leadership around the world being challenged. In the city that I'm in at the moment, we've just gone into another lockdown after a year, and seeing how people are being affected by that. Our whole country seems to be in lockdowns all over at the moment, and then in the Northern Hemisphere. So we're still in winter here. In the Northern Hemisphere, you can see lots of things shifting and changing. And then what happened in Afghanistan in the last week, lots of these conversations coming out going, this isn't working anymore, and challenging these concepts of leadership so that we can create greater unity for the whole. Now, last month, at the beginning of the month, we were talking about Ashlesha New Moon, where we were taking action, and I shared about these transformative energies with the aspect from Saturn in Capricorn about working hard on our inner transformation for self. Now we're in a reflective phase, which is this full moon, and I'll share a little bit about what's going to happen at the next new moon in next 2 weeks' time, how this is going to be put into play then at the end of the video, so stick around. As we're in reflection time, I just want to share too that Aquarius is a fixed sign. It's about freedom, thinking outside the box. Here it comes straight after Capricorn, so we take that energy of karma, right action, and put it to use. Because if we're just working, how are we going to serve the people? And are we in alignment with our Dharma? So if you look at the 12 signs and go, okay, Aries represents the head, the face and the neck, speech, the throat, the heart, all these things as we move our way around. But then the themes of the houses as well, we start to take action, and then we come around to another fire sign. We've got Leo here with this leadership theme, and then you've got Scorpio in the deep waters as we're moving up, and we're starting to get more esoteric as we come towards the end. When we get to Sagittarius, it's about, you know, our Dharma, but then we come into Capricorn and it's about our karma. What kind of actions are we putting out in the world? And every action has a reaction. So, and I want to do a separate video on this in regards to free will versus destiny in our charts, is that every action that we put out in the world, we get to choose. Are we going to be creating more karma through that? Or we let's say here, for example, if you've got this quite fiery, out of balance energy coming at you, you get to decide, are you going to go into witness mode and observe and respond with love, or are you going to respond with this fiery energy as well at the same time? And as we move through, so we come into this humanity sign that is Aquarius, and then move into enlightenment and moksha, which is Pisces. So we're moving in that direction. Now, Jupiter retrograde here, Jupiter represents wisdom, education, knowledge, philosophy, prosperity, and religion. And here in this air sign, it shows freedom, friendships, and inventions. So we're creating new ways of being. Now, here, like I said before, that with the moon and Jupiter, we are looking at our belief system, our value system, what's working, what's not, for ourselves internally and also for humanity on a whole. Think about the globe. Like, what is it that you do in your day-to-day, and how can you take those gifts, your leadership skills, your creativity, and take it out into the world to serve the greater good, instead of just, you know, just doing it just cause, you know. Be aware here of the shadow side. Like I said, that Leo energy, there can be themes around pride and ego, forcing one's beliefs on others, letting anger and fear fuel your beliefs. And I really do feel this so strongly when I was putting this together for this particular video, that the 5 kleshas is incredibly important to review at this time. Now, in yogic Vedic wisdom, the 5 kleshas are these 5 things that stop us from growing spiritually on the path. And the last one is this fear of death. I'll share them in the notes, or I'll put them up on my Facebook page. You can check that out. Or I'll do a separate video on it, and subscribe so that you can then hit the bell notification so you can see when that video comes out in the next week. But these 5 kleshas, this fear of death, you can see this pandemic all around the world. Everybody's so scared that they're going to lose their life, but they forget, or they are not aware, in illusion, that we are an undying soul that has a body. We are not our body. And the loss of life is not the loss of the soul, and reincarnation happens, so that the right actions that we're taking out in the world for humanity, that all plays a part in that. And I think being aware of the things that you're afraid of is really important. Now, I wanted to share a little story. I was on social media yesterday, and someone that I used to consider a very close friend put up a post saying that, now this isn't to aggravate people, but said that anybody who's not vaccinated should be shot. Now, immediately I saw that his fear of being, his life force being threatened, needing to have the rest of the population controlled to secure his life force. And it was just interesting to observe that, as opposed to being like, whoa, you know what I mean? So just observing what's going on at the moment, observing why people are reacting the way that they are, and still see them as a human and what they're afraid of, as opposed to just, you know, blasting people for different beliefs on this axis. Are you using right action for a whole? If not, how to turn your purpose into a gift that you can share for humanity. Being aware of the 5 kleshas, as I just said. Fear of death is a big one this month, just seeing how people are reacting around the world. And reflecting on your values and beliefs. Be prepared to be open-minded, go into witness mode, observe without judgment. Lots happening globally at this time. Now, as we move into Dhanishtha Nakshatra, the energy of this particular star that the moon is in this month, it's about insight, it's listening, it's perception of truth. It comes after Shravana, which is the listening or the hearing star, and we really need to bring these two together. The 23rd lunar mansion, Dhanishtha, originally known as Shravishta, because we bring that hearing element into it from older Vedic texts, is the star of Symphony. So you'll see that a lot of, you know, musically talented people generally have these stars in their chart. It also means the wealthy one. So it's known as wealth is in the eye of the beholder, and you'll tend to find that with this musical element, it comes with the drum is the symbol for this particular star. So they have the ability to keep rhythm, keep the beat. And with that, when you're so focused on your career in that sense, or you're very, very creative, you're going to move into that area. So there's a lot of creation going on at this time. The ability to beat your own drum, you know, stepping out in the world, creating and marching to your own beat is a really important message for this month. The star that this is ruled by Mars, so it's a strong, adventurous energy representing the spiritual warrior. So you can see how, like, even though Mars is over here in Leo, we've got Mars's energy supporting us over here at this time, and then Saturn sign helping us, you know, stabilize and focus on the work ethic that we've got here for humanity. It's the 4th pada, and when I looked at this, it said it's more of a warrior's attitude. So it's kind of helping us move forward in that sense. So it's a little bit more of this energy coming across over here. The animal symbol is a female lion. And when I looked this up, I do have an animal reading book, but this one was talking about how, you know, the solar feminine power, because lions really do represent the sun, and how they live in pride. So we've got this group or community energy, which represents Aquarius, cooperation, respecting each other, and how the lioness is the best hunter and does most of the work. So this ascension of the feminine and the rising feminine energies as a whole is, and we all have a feminine side. We might neglect it, but it's definitely there. And bringing that together. So following our heart in tough decisions and listening closely so as not to move ahead recklessly is very important. Dhanishtha is also found in the star Delphinus. which is a dolphin. And when I was writing the notes for this, I don't know if I put it on another page, that Delphinus, in my animal book, I'll just pull it up here because I just found it absolutely fascinating. That dolphin. Take a few minutes today to meditate while playing one of your favorite pieces of music, and Dhanishtha is the sign of music. Listen more and talk less, especially to the more subtle levels of communication from other people from the natural world and from the natural world. Think and behave more lovingly and positively towards persons or situations you're having difficulty with. Smile more at others and notice how they smile back at you. And I just found that fascinating, that every time I check out my animal book, that there's always, it always relates to what's going on with the stars at this time. Similar to when people pull up tarot cards and you just get, clearer information. So moving forward here, Lord Shiva's drum, as I mentioned, the ability to beat to your own drum. Wealth of wisdom, I feel, is really important here at this particular time. Values for humanity and taking right action. Wealth of friendships is really important in Aquarius, and connecting with like-minded groups of people for a greater cause and leadership for positive change are huge themes. The 8 Vasus are the deities that represent this particular star, and I've got the story here because I wanted to help you understand, because sometimes when you understand the deities, it helps understand what kind of energy is playing out. Now, the Ashtavasus, when we say Ashtanga Yoga, it means the 8 limbs of yoga, so we bring those themes in, and I'll do a separate video on that as well. But the Ashtavasus, the 8 Vasus, gods of energy and light, can be described in a few different ways, but I found the easiest was the sun, moon, and spirit, and the 5 elements. Space, air, fire, water, and earth. All the things that make up the material world through energy and light. So they're described in the Ramayana as the children of, and I apologize for butchering this if anybody knows these words, but the names, Kasyapa and Aditi, and in the Mahabharata, the sons of Manu and Brahma Prajapati. It is said that these 8 Vasus once stole the divine cow, Kamadhendu, fulfiller of desires, from the sage Vashishta. With his mystic powers, the sage found out the culprits and cursed them to be born as human beings. And human beings, we are very, we go through this physical incarnation where we experience things, both pleasure and pain. And being human can be quite challenging at times, as you all know if you're watching this. Because of this curse, the 8 Vasus took birth upon the earth as children of Ganga, Mother Ganga. 7 of them passed away within a year of their birth, as per the curse of Vashishta. The 8th one lived for a long time and became renowned as Bhishma the Great. And he plays a big role in the Mahabharata story. So the symbolism within the story of the 8 Vasus is quite straightforward. And I've taken this from a website. The cow represents divinity or wealth, consciousness in other worlds. The wife in the story, that notices that the cow is being stolen, is the feminine principle and represents emotional desires, and the 8 Vasus are subsequent energies. The 7 energies that return to paradise after a short time reflect energy that passes through the chakras, while Prabhasa is manifesting energy, which always remains in the earth. So they have this incredible ability, but then they are punished for it because of what they've done. They've taken away something. So there's like this almost loss of an energy. So there's heaps of creation, but then destruction at the same time. So I really feel that right action is very important with this particular energy. It's an incredible level of energy for manifesting as well. Abundance on the material plane. Shadow sides of Dhanishtha is being too materialistic bent. It can be ruthless, inconsiderate, self-absorbed, narcissistic, and revengeful, like I shared with this story that I experienced this week. And again, like I said, this energy of Shiva that really comes out because it's Shiva's drum, this energy of Nataraj, dancing. And when you think of music, it comes under the arts and creation. Dancing across the chart, creating and destructing. And again, I've seen so much of this energy, something that happened this morning in my own life that was, the birth of something new, but the destruction of something else. And themes in my own life, like on a relationship level, I had a chat with my spouse and said, hey, this area of our life isn't working anymore. Can we break it down and reconstruct it into something completely different. And only in a couple of days, like how different the energy is, because we were able to do that as a team, and knowing that what was going to go on with this energy, using it for, with the heart energy in a balanced space, as opposed to ego and pride, and kind of coming head to head with that. So remedies at this time: singing, chanting, sharing your heart song, a time of listening to others also without judgment. Watch what's falling away in your life and be an observer. Are you leading by your heart? Being aware of not falling prey to fear. Be open to a new way of seeing things, out of the box thinking that really happens with this Jupiter retrograde with Moon in Aquarius, and thinking about what's true wealth for you. So if you had everything, then what happens? Just consider the procession, like I said, of the zodiac signs, that we're moving towards enlightenment when we reach the 12th house in Pisces. So yeah, that's most of my energy for this month. I will put up another video after this on the 12 ascendants, and that'll share some more of that energy. The new moon in September is at 10:51 a.m. Canberra time, and that will be in Leo in Purva Falguni, and will continue this energy into action. So we go back into Leo, but then we're in this energy that Mars and Mercury are in now. So you're going to see how we're going to start to put this particular full moon into action. It's an exciting time. I can feel big changes happening. Feel free to reach out if you need some support or you want to jump into a chart reading with me. And definitely hit the bell notification and subscribe so you can see the updates and videos that I'm going to put through. And like I was saying, that the Ascendants video I'm going to put out straight after this one so that you can see that. But also on my website, I'm planning on putting up an ebook Ascendant series, so that if you know what your Ascendant is, and if you don't, without even having to go into a chart reading, you can message me and I can tell you what it is, and you can purchase your own Ascendant so you can understand what your lifestyle themes are coming through, so that I can give you more clarity on what your lessons are in this lifetime, because each Ascendant has their own journey and their path and similar themes. And I was talking to my sister this morning, we're both Aries Ascendant, so we've got all these themes that are happening in different houses, but the planets will change the energy based on where they are. So with that, I'll leave it there, and have a great month. Lots of love and blessings to you all. Namaste.